The crowd laughed when the last cage rolled onto the auction floor. They stopped laughing when the human raised his hand. The auction house on Varkesh Station smelled of oil, fear, and old blood. It always did. Hidden deep inside the asteroid city, it was a place where laws ended and credits spoke louder than morality. Creatures from dozens of star systems gathered here, not to trade goods, but to trade lives. The final lot of the night stood alone in the center ring. She was tall, even compared to most species present. Her skin was a deep shade of midnight blue, etched with faint silver markings that pulsed softly like distant stars. Heavy restraint bands locked her wrists and ankles, humming with suppression energy. Her long white hair hung loose, untied on purpose, a sign of disrespect. But it was her eyes that unsettled everyone. They were calm. Not broken. Not begging. Watching. A Nisari female, the auctioneer announced, his voice amplified across the chamber. He was a squat insectoid creature with mechanical lungs. Captured beyond the Orion shard. Highly resistant. Physically strong. Mentally problematic. A ripple of amusement passed through the crowd. She has killed 2 handlers, he added quickly, and permanently injured 3 more. That earned laughter. She is aggressive, untrainable, and unsuitable for domestic use. The laughter grew louder. One by one, interested buyers turned away. A Nisari was valuable in theory, rare, intelligent, powerful, but only if broken. And this one clearly wasn't. A towering avian trader clicked his beak. She will rebel. A slug-like noble waved a tentacle dismissively. Too much effort. A reptilian warlord leaned forward, eyes gleaming. I'd enjoy breaking her, but not at that price. The bidding screen remained blank. Inside the cage, the Nisari woman stood straight despite the restraints. Her chin was raised. When the crowd mocked her, she met their stares without flinching. She was waiting. The auctioneer's mandibles twitched in irritation. Starting bid reduced, he snapped. Half price. Still nothing. Someone shouted, throw her into the combat pits. Another voice replied, let the predators eat her. The auctioneer sighed theatrically. Such a shame. A creature like this could have been useful. He leaned closer to the cage and activated the shock field. Blue energy tore through her body. She gasped but did not scream. Her knees buckled, yet she forced herself upright, teeth clenched, eyes burning with quiet fury. The crowd roared. Savage. Monster. Worthless. The auctioneer raised his arm. Very well. Unsold lot. She will be. I'll buy her. The words cut through the noise like a blade. Silence crashed down on the chamber. All eyes turned toward the source. A human stood near the back of the hall. He was unremarkable at first glance. Average height. Dark jacket. No visible weapons. His hair was short, touched with grey at the temples. His expression was calm, almost bored, as if he had just ordered a drink instead of interrupting an illegal auction. The auctioneer stared. You wish to purchase this one? Yes, the human replied. Minimum price. The room erupted. You're insane. She'll kill you. Humans really are stupid. The auctioneer recovered quickly. Market rules apply, he said slowly. No other bids were placed. He tapped the console. Sold. The shock field dropped. The Nisari woman stiffened, confused for the first time. The cage door slid open. Guards approached, weapons ready, but the human lifted a hand. I'll escort her myself. The auctioneer sneered. Once payment clears, she's your problem. No refunds. A credit transfer chimed. Done. The restraints disengaged with a hiss. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the Nisari woman stepped forward. She moved with predatory grace, muscles coiled, eyes locked onto the human. The guards tensed, fingers tightening on triggers. She stopped an arm's length away from him. If this is a trick, she said quietly, her voice deep and steady, I will kill you first. The human met her gaze without fear. "My name is Elias Rook," he said. "And I didn't buy you to own you." That made her pause. "I bought you," he continued, "because no one else should." Her silver markings flickered brighter, reacting to emotion she refused to show. "Lies," she said. "All owners lie." "Probably," Elias admitted. "But you're free to test that theory later. Right now, we need to leave." Alarms suddenly blared. The auctioneer's eyes widened. Security breach. A Krell Syndicate vessel just docked. Elias cursed under his breath. "Bounty hunters. Fast ones. They've come for her," someone shouted. The crowd panicked, scattering in all directions. Elias grabbed the Nisari woman's wrist. "Run." She hesitated for half a heartbeat. Then she ran with him. They burst into the service corridors of Varkesh Station, metal floors vibrating beneath their feet as emergency shutters slammed down. Blaster fire echoed behind them. "They'll hunt us," she said between breaths. "I know. You wasted credits on me." "Maybe." She glanced at him sharply. "Why?" Elias didn't slow. "Because I've seen what happens when the galaxy decides someone isn't worth saving." They reached a loading bay. A sleek, battle-scarred ship waited, engines already warming. The name Wayfarer was painted on its hull. "Your ship?" she asked. "My home," Elias replied. As they sprinted up the ramp, she looked back once, at the chaos, the cages, the auction floor where she was supposed to die forgotten. Then the ramp sealed shut. The engines roared. As the Wayfarer launched into open space, the Nisari woman finally allowed herself to breathe. She turned to Elias, eyes searching his face. "I am called Salith," she said. "And if you betray me..." He met her gaze steadily. "Then I'll deserve whatever happens." The stars stretched as the ship jumped to hyperspace. Behind them, the galaxy had already begun to notice. And it would not forgive the human who dared to interfere. The Wayfarer did not look impressive from the inside. Exposed wiring ran along the corridor walls. The lights flickered slightly as the ship exited hyperspace. The metal floor vibrated with a low, uneven hum that spoke of patched engines and stubborn survival rather than factory perfection. Salith noticed everything. She moved carefully, bare feet silent against the deck, muscles tense and ready. Her silver markings dimmed as the jump completed, reacting to the shift in energy. She had been on ships before, prison transports, war barges, slaver freighters, but none like this. This ship felt alive. "You can let go," Elias said calmly. She realized she was still gripping his sleeve. Salith released him instantly, eyes narrowing. "You run toward danger very easily, human." Elias gave a tired smile. Occupational habit. They entered the central corridor, and the ship's crew finally came into view. A tall woman with cybernetic arms leaned against a bulkhead, polishing a rifle. Her dark skin contrasted with glowing blue circuitry running from her shoulders to her fingertips. She looked up, eyes sharp. A four-legged alien with bronze plating and multiple eyes crouched near an open maintenance panel, tools clicking rapidly in his grasp. Near the cockpit doorway stood a thin, pale man with data implants running along his skull, fingers dancing across a holopad even as his eyes stayed on Salith. The moment stretched. Then the woman with the rifle spoke. "Elias," she said slowly, "please tell me you did not just steal an apex predator from an illegal auction house." "I paid for her," Elias replied. "Legally." "That makes it worse." The thin man swore softly. "Captain, there's already chatter. Heavy chatter." Salith straightened, chin raised. She did not hide. She met every stare with calm defiance. "I am not your enemy," she said. The bronze-plated alien tilted his head. "Statistically unlikely." Elias stepped forward. "Everyone, this is Salith. She's under my protection." The woman laughed once, sharp and humorless. "Protection from who?" Elias didn't hesitate. "Everyone." Silence followed. Finally, the woman slung the rifle over her shoulder and stepped closer. She stopped a few feet from Salith, studying her like a weapon. "I'm Captain Mara Vance," she said. "Second in command. If you try anything, I'll drop you before Elias finishes his sentence." Salith nodded. "That is reasonable." Mara blinked. Heh. The bronze-plated alien clanked upright. "I am Brack, engineer. If you damage my ship, I will be upset." "It is not your ship," Salith replied calmly. Brack's eyes flickered. "I like her already." The thin man sighed. "I'm Noah Kess, navigation and comms. And if you're wondering, yes, there is now a bounty." Elias exhaled. "How bad?" Noah turned the holopad so they could all see. The number glowed red. 200,000 credits. Salith's markings flared bright silver. "For me?" she asked. "For both of you," Noah replied. "Dead or alive?" Mara cursed. That escalated fast. Elias rubbed his temples. "Who posted it?" Noah zoomed in. A coalition of traders, slavers, and, a Nisari exile council. Salith went very still. "They branded me a traitor," she said quietly. "They fear what I represent." "And what's that?" Elias asked. She looked at him, eyes hard but honest. "A Nisari who refused to kneel." Mara folded her arms. "Great. We just picked up a political symbol." Elias straightened. "Then we'll handle it." Brack's tools clattered to the floor. "Captain Elias Rook," he said slowly, "with respect, this ship cannot outrun everything coming for us." "I know." Mara raised an eyebrow. "Then what's the plan?" Elias smiled. "That's the part I'm good at." They gathered around the navigation table as Elias activated a rotating star map. Trade routes, patrol zones, pirate territories, all layered together. "Everyone expects us to run," he said. "So we won't." Mara frowned. "Explain." "We go somewhere no bounty hunter wants to follow," Elias continued. "Somewhere dangerous. Somewhere unpredictable." Salith studied the map. "The Ashvale Expanse." Noah looked horrified. "That region eats ships." "Exactly," Elias said. Brack's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. "Radiation storms. Gravity fractures. Ancient debris fields. And old human outposts," Elias added. "Abandoned, but not empty." Mara stared at him. "You planned this before the auction." "I hoped I wouldn't need it," Elias replied. Salith watched him closely now. "You bought me knowing this might happen," she said. "Yes." "Why?" Elias met her gaze evenly. "Because some risks are worth taking." For the first time, Salith felt something unfamiliar. Not hope. Possibility. The Wayfarer adjusted course, engines growling as it accelerated toward the Ashvale Expanse. Moments later, alarms blared. Multiple contacts. Noah shouted. 5 ships dropping out of warp. Mara was already moving. Weapons hot. Salith stepped forward. "Your shields are misaligned." Brack snapped his head toward her. "Impossible." She placed her palm against the deck. Her markings pulsed in rhythm with the ship. "The resonance field is uneven," she said calmly. "You're bleeding energy." Elias didn't hesitate. "Fix it." Brack hesitated only a second before nodding. "Show me." Salith moved with him to the engineering console. Her fingers danced across unfamiliar controls with shocking precision. The ship shuddered. Then stabilized. "Noah," Elias called. "Status." The navigator's eyes widened. "Shield efficiency up 30%. Mara grinned. "All right. I officially like the alien." The Wayfarer surged forward as enemy fire flashed behind them, missing by meters. Salith stepped back, breathing steady. "You trust very easily for a hunted species," she said to Elias. He looked at her, stars reflecting in his eyes. "Humans learned a long time ago," he said, That survival isn't about being the strongest. She tilted her head. Then what is it about? Elias smiled. Choosing who you stand with, when everything is on fire. The Wayfarer plunged into the Ashvale expanse, storms raging ahead. And for the first time in a very long time, Salith felt something dangerous growing inside her. Belief. The Ashvale expanse was not empty space. It was chaos given shape. Radiation storms twisted like living creatures, bending light and gravity into violent spirals. Ancient wreckage drifted everywhere, shattered hulls from forgotten wars, alien megastructures torn apart by forces no one fully understood. Navigation beacons died here. Sensors lied. Maps became suggestions. The Wayfarer plunged in anyway. The ship shook as a wave of electromagnetic interference slammed into its hull. Lights flickered. Consoles screamed warnings. Shields fluctuating. Noah shouted. Brack's mandibles clicked rapidly. Structural stress rising. Mara tightened her grip on the weapons console. Hunters still behind us. Noah's fingers flew. 3 ships entered the expanse. 2 pulled back. 1 stayed. Persistent, Mara muttered. Elias stood at the center of the bridge, calm amid the noise. His eyes tracked data streams faster than anyone else's. Salith, he said, can you feel the ship? She closed her eyes and placed both hands on the deck. Immediately, her silver markings flared bright. Yes, she whispered. The storm is singing. Mara gave her a look. That's not comforting. It shouldn't be, Salith replied. The expanse feeds on imbalance. Elias's eyes lit up slightly. Feeds. She nodded. It amplifies weaknesses. Fear. Hesitation. Faulty design. Brack snorted. Then we're doomed. No, Elias said calmly. We're human. Mara glanced at him. That's your plan. Part of it. The ship lurched violently as a gravity shear tore past them. Cargo slammed against restraints. A warning klaxon howled. Captain! Brack shouted. Main drive stabilizers won't hold much longer. Elias didn't raise his voice. Salith. What happens if we don't fight the storm? She opened her eyes slowly. You, let it carry you. Silence followed. Mara stared. You want to surrender control in a place that kills pilots? Elias nodded. Humans don't win by overpowering forces like this. We adapt. Noah swallowed. That goes against every navigation protocol ever written. Exactly, Elias said. He turned to Brack. Disengage auxiliary stabilizers. Let the core flex. Brack froze. That will tear the ship apart. Elias met his gaze steadily. Trust me. The engineer hesitated, then growled. If we die, I'm haunting you. He pulled the controls. The Wayfarer screamed. For a terrifying second, it felt like the ship was coming apart. Then something changed. The vibrations smoothed. The storm's energy began to flow around the hull instead of into it. Noah's eyes went wide. Readings stabilizing, impossible. Salith's markings pulsed in harmony with the ship. You are not resisting, she murmured. You are dancing. Elias allowed himself a thin smile. That's how humans survived our own planet, he said. Earth tried to kill us every day. Mara laughed despite herself. I'm starting to see why aliens hate you. A sudden warning blared. Enemy ship. Noah shouted. They followed us deeper. On the view screen, a heavily armored bounty cruiser emerged from the storm, shields flaring violently as it fought the expanse's pull. They're forcing it, Salith said. That will destroy them. Not fast enough, Mara replied. They're lining up a shot. Elias leaned forward. Noah, open a narrowband transmission. You want to talk to them? Yes. The channel opened. A scarred alien face appeared, a bounty captain with metal implants and dead eyes. You cost us time, human, the hunter snarled. Hand over the Nisari and we'll let your crew live. Salith stepped into view. I will never kneel again, she said coldly. The hunter laughed. Then you'll die screaming. Elias spoke calmly. You know why humans are dangerous. The bounty captain scoffed. Because you breed fast. Because, Elias continued, we learn from our mistakes. He cut the transmission. Mara looked at him. That's it. No, Elias said. That was the distraction. Brack's eyes widened as he read the engine data. Captain, the storm energy is charging our hull plating. Elias nodded. Salith. She understood instantly. She placed her hands against the bulkhead, silver markings blazing like stars. I can shape it, she said. Briefly. Do it. The Wayfarer surged forward, riding a gravity wave like a blade. Energy crackled across its surface. The bounty ship fired. The beam struck the storm-charged field around the Wayfarer. And reflected. The energy slammed back into the hunter's shields, overloading them instantly. The bounty ship screamed as its systems collapsed. Gravity tore it sideways, snapping its hull like paper. The explosion was silent. The storm swallowed the wreckage. On the bridge, no one spoke. Then Noah whispered, "They're gone." Mara slowly exhaled. Remind me never to chase a human into hell. Salith stepped back, exhausted but standing. Her markings dimmed. You turned the expanse into a weapon, she said to Elias. He shook his head. No. We let it be what it already was. She studied him, something new in her eyes. You are dangerous, she said. Elias met her gaze. So are you. The Wayfarer drifted deeper into the expanse, unharmed, invisible. For the first time since her capture, Salith felt something powerful take root. Not fear. Not anger. Purpose. And across the galaxy, bounty networks began marking Elias Rook and his ship with a new designation. Extreme threat. Human. The Ashvale expanse slowly released the Wayfarer. The storms faded behind them like reluctant predators denied their prey. Space ahead opened into a quiet, starless stretch, the kind of void navigators avoided because it offered nothing and promised worse. No signals. No traffic. No witnesses. Elias wanted it that way. Long-range scans are clean, Noah reported. No pursuit. No tracking pings. Mara leaned back in her chair, finally allowing herself to breathe. I hate to say it, but I think we scared them. Brack made a low mechanical chuckle. Good. Fear improves survival odds. Salith stood near the viewport, gazing into the darkness. Her silver markings were faint now, barely glowing. She looked smaller somehow, not weaker, but quieter, as if carrying a heavy truth. Elias noticed. You're holding something back, he said gently. She didn't turn. If I speak it, your danger multiplies. Mara frowned. That's not comforting. Salith faced them at last. You already stand in danger because of me. You deserve honesty. Elias nodded once. Go on. She drew a slow breath. I am not merely Nisari, she said. I am what my people call a starbound. Noah blinked. That sounds important. It is forbidden, Salith replied. Starbound Nisari can interface with non-biological systems at a fundamental level. Not through control, but understanding. Brack's eyes widened. You don't just fix machines. You commune with them. Yes. Mara swore softly. That's why Slavers wanted you alive. And why my own people fear me, Salith added. Starbound Nisari challenge hierarchy. We do not obey blindly. Elias folded his arms. So the council branded you a traitor. They tried to erase us, she said quietly. I escaped. Others did not. Silence filled the bridge. Noah broke it carefully. If alien governments learn this. They already know, Salith said. They simply hoped to own it. Mara looked at Elias. You realize every major power will come for her now. I do, Elias replied. And you're still in. Elias didn't hesitate. Yes. Salith stared at him. Why? Elias met her gaze. Because humans made the same mistake once. She tilted her head. We tried to control intelligence, he continued. Artificial minds. Enhanced humans. Anyone who didn't fit the old systems. And it nearly destroyed us, Elias said. Until we learned that survival isn't about dominance. It's about coexistence. Salith's markings pulsed softly. Noah's console suddenly chimed. Captain, incoming transmission. High priority. Multi-species encryption. Mara stiffened. That's not good. Put it through, Elias said. The hologram expanded. 5 figures appeared, representatives from different alien powers. Military, corporate, political, and one familiar Nisari face, older, colder. The counselor. Elias Rook, the Nisari said. You harbor stolen property. Salith stepped forward. I am not property. The counselor ignored her. Human, surrender the starbound and you will be compensated. How generous, Elias replied flatly. You are a primitive species, another representative snapped. You do not understand the consequences. Elias leaned forward. I understand exactly what's happening. You're afraid. A murmur rippled through the council. You've built empires on control, Elias continued. And now someone exists who doesn't need permission to rewrite your machines. The Nisari counselor's eyes hardened. This is your final warning. Elias nodded. Then here's my final answer. He cut the transmission. The bridge went still. Mara stared at him. You just declared war. No, Elias said. They did. Salith looked shaken. They will not stop. Neither do humans, Mara said grimly. Brack tapped the deck thoughtfully. Captain, there is an option. Elias turned. I'm listening. The old human outpost in this sector, Brack said. Pre-alliance. Experimental. Noah frowned. That place is classified dead. Elias's eyes lit up. Dead to everyone else. Salith stepped closer. What was it? A human idea, Elias replied. That scared everyone. They reached the coordinates hours later. At first, there was nothing. Then space bent. A massive structure unfolded from stealth, angular, scarred, unmistakably human. The outpost came alive. Lights flared. Systems booted. Salith gasped. It's listening. Elias smiled softly. Good. That means it still remembers us. The Wayfarer docked. Inside the station, ancient systems hummed with dormant potential. Old AI cores. Adaptive factories. Defensive arrays no alien fleet had ever mapped. This place was shut down because humans couldn't agree how to use it, Elias said. Too powerful. Too independent. Salith placed her hand against the core interface. The station responded instantly. Energy surged. Systems awakened. Mara whispered, she's talking to it. No, Elias corrected. They're introducing themselves. Across the galaxy, sensors spiked. Unknown signals spread like wildfire. Alien networks panicked. And for the first time in centuries, something ancient and human woke up, not to conquer, but to protect. Salith turned to Elias, eyes shining. You chose to shield me, she said. Even knowing the cost. Elias met her gaze steadily. That's what humans do, he said. We stand between monsters and those they want to break. Outside, fleets began to move. Inside, humanity prepared. The ancient human station fully awakened. Across its massive hull, dormant systems flared to life one by one. Defense grids unfolded like metal wings. Sensor arrays stretched into the void, mapping space with terrifying precision. Factories that had slept for decades hummed as adaptive machinery began reshaping itself. This was not a weapon. It was a promise. On the bridge of the Wayfarer, alarms echoed, not warnings, but information. Multiple fleets incoming, Noah reported, his voice tight. At least 7 factions. Military strength off the charts. Mara cracked her knuckles. So, end of the line. Elias stood calmly, watching the data scroll past. No. This is the line they don't cross. Salith stood beside the core interface, eyes glowing silver now, brighter than ever before. The station responded to her presence like a living thing. They are afraid, she said softly. Not of the station. Of what it represents. Brack glanced at the projections. They outnumber us. Elias nodded. They always do. A massive transmission flooded every channel at once. The alien coalition appeared again. More leaders now, more urgency, less arrogance. Human Elias Rook, the Nisari counselor said sharply. Deactivate the station immediately. Elias folded his arms. Or what? You will be erased, another leader snapped. Your species will suffer. Elias smiled, not cruelly, but with certainty. You've misunderstood humans from the beginning, he said. We don't survive by force. We survive by refusing to abandon each other. Salith stepped forward, her voice carrying power beyond sound. I choose, she said. The council froze. I choose where I stand, she continued. And I stand with humanity. Energy surged through the station. Every alien system in range flickered. Weapons failed to lock. Navigation scrambled. Shields lost synchronization. Not destroyed. Disabled. The alien fleets drifted, helpless and stunned. Noah stared at the readings. She didn't attack them. Mara whispered, she rewrote the battlefield. Elias looked at Salith. You didn't have to do that. Yes, she replied calmly. I did. She turned back to the transmission. You fear Starbound because we do not obey, she said. Humans do not fear that. They respect it. The Nisari counselor's voice cracked. You would side with a lesser species. Salith's eyes hardened. Humans are not lesser, she said. They are dangerous in the way storms are dangerous. Not cruel. Not mindless. Unstoppable when protecting what they love. Elias stepped forward one last time. This station, he said, will not fire first. But it will remember who came here with chains. Silence. Then, one by one, alien fleets disengaged. Retreating. Not defeated. But warned. When the last signal faded, the station dimmed its weapons and returned to standby. The crisis had passed. For now. On the bridge, no one spoke. Then Mara let out a long breath. Well, that was terrifying. Brack clanked in agreement. I approve. Noah looked at Elias. You realize history just changed. Elias nodded. Good. It needed to. Later, as the Wayfarer prepared to depart, Salith stood alone at the viewport. Stars reflected in her eyes. You gave me more than freedom, she said quietly. You gave me choice. Elias joined her. You gave us something too. She turned to him. What? A reminder, he said, of who we're supposed to be. Salith considered that. The galaxy will test you again. Elias smiled faintly. It always does. She extended her hand. Not as property. Not as a weapon. As an equal. Elias took it. And far beyond the station, stories began to spread. Of a human ship that walked into hell and came back untouched. Of an alien who chose humanity, and was never chained again. Of a species that did not conquer the stars, but made them listen. Because when humanity stands its ground, the galaxy learns a simple truth. Humans do not bow. Humans do not break. Humans choose who they protect, and the universe adjusts accordingly.